Well, good evening, my friends, and welcome back to another episode from the Cumberland Outdoorsman. In today's video, I'm going to be answering a question about 22 rimfire ammunition. And yes, this is another video for my 22 rimfire series. As you can see here on the table, I've got a lot of vintage, older 22 rimfire ammo. And just like these old 22 rifles that I like to collect and that I try to showcase in my videos, like this Winchester Model 69A, I like to collect old ammunition as well, especially 22 rimfire ammo. And I'm always real picky about what I will collect, you know, what I pick up, whether or not it's in good enough shape to suit me, just in case I want to get out and use it. Now, in most cases, this old ammunition has some collector value. You know, it really does. Some people pay a lot of money just to have a brick of old ammunition, you know, like this T22 or like this Super X short hollow point. A lot of this ammunition is over 50 years old. So the question remains, you know, if you do decide to get out and try to use some of this ammunition, will it even go bang? You know, will it go off? And how will it perform? Is it accurate still? I mean, is it good enough to go out target shooting or even to go hunting with? So let's go ahead and answer that question. I'm going to be testing out some of this T22 ammo. I've got a few different boxes of it here, actually bricks of it. This is a full brick of T22. It says here it's target accuracy, improved priming, positive functioning, 40 grain lead bullet, special lubricant. That's another thing that's really important in choosing vintage ammunition. You know, what kind of condition is that cartridge in? Has it been stored properly? Because that makes a big difference, folks. You know, if you open up a box of ammunition and it looks green, you need to close it back up and set it back on the shelf because it hasn't been stored properly. It's been allowed to get moist, and moisture always builds corrosion. But as you can see, this ammo here is still very much like new ammo. You know, a lot of times the heads on these bullets will turn white because the lead gets like a corrosion coating on it, and therefore the lubricant is no longer any good. But we're going to be shooting a little bit of this ammo. I'll go ahead and sacrifice some of this stuff out of my collection here just to answer that question. And the first test rifle we're going to be shooting with is this Remington Model 581 customized sporter at 50 yards. I've got target set up down there, and we'll shoot a couple of 5-shot groups just to see how accurate it still is. And then we'll try some of this 22 short ammunition, see how well it performs in this Winchester Model 69A. You know, that's vintage ammunition. Why not try it out in some vintage rifles? So let's get going. Let's start doing some shooting. Okay, we'll take some of this ammunition out of the box here. Get 5 rounds of it and load it up in the magazine. See if this stuff will even go off. I think this ammo here was made in the mid-1970s, judging by the color and the design of the box there. All right, now that we got our rifle ready to test this ammunition, we'll get zoomed in on this target downrange there, and we'll go ahead and shoot at the top target in that row of 3 targets there. I'm not even sure where this stuff's going to hit, but we'll find out. All right, here we go. First shot. I don't even know where these are hitting, to be honest with you. All right, let me run down there and see what's going on. Well guys, I really wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it myself. I went down range and checked that target after those last 5 shots I just took and really couldn't believe my eyes. So I left the target down there, came back over here, grabbed the camera, and I'll show you what's going on here. I think this will answer the question for many of you. Certainly has for me. I kept shooting at that target and I did not see any bullet holes anywhere else. I just kept aiming at the center. And that's what I got. One ragged hole at 50 yards with 5 shots. All of them right through the middle of the bullseye. I mean, look at that. That's 5 shots at 50 yards that you could cover easily with a shirt button. Guys, that really just blows me away. I did not expect to see that. That's a testimony to the accuracy of some of the older 22 ammo. You know, back when ammunition and gun manufacturers really took pride here in the United States in making their product. So my friends, I'm pretty well satisfied with that 5-shot group at 50 yards with that Winchester T22 ammo. I mean, that right there is right on top with the best, I mean the absolute best of today's target 22 ammunition. I mean, I'm impressed with high quality target ammunition that will perform like that, and I'm absolutely astonished that that vintage ammo will do that. Anyway, I've got some other varieties of 22 ammo that I still want to test out, so I want to try out that 22 short ammo and see how well it performs out of that little Winchester Model 69A. But we're going to move it a little closer because 22 short ammo, it's not going to perform as well as that at this distance. So we'll move it up to about 25 yards and see what kind of grouping we can get with that little rifle and that type of ammunition. So let's go. Let's give it a try. Okay, my friends, now we're going to try out some of this Winchester Western Super X short hollow point. I would venture to guess it's probably a little bit older than this T22 ammo, but pretty close to the same time frame. To me, the box looks a little bit more yellowed, but that could just be in the type of ink that they were using when they printed these boxes. But either way, another quick pointer I can tell you and share with you here is when you open up a box of vintage ammo, and it doesn't necessarily have to be vintage, it could be fairly new. You know, you want to look for nice bright cartridges like this, you know. Something that looks like it's been reasonably well stored. Like I say, if it looks white or greenish colored or kind of a bluish turquoise, that means that the copper has already tarnished, and you really don't want that. And you know, sometimes it's hard to find, but I found a few bricks of it actually. And we'll be giving this stuff a try and see how well that it performs in my little Winchester 69A here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and load up the magazine on this Winchester with this 22 short ammo by Winchester. And see how well it performs there at 25 yards. Half the distance. Small cartridge, shorter distance. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and get zoomed in here and see how well that 22 short ammo does. All right, here we go. Bottom target. Okay. All right, I think that ammo is just starting to get leaded in. Let's shoot another 5-shot group at the middle target. All right, we'll go ahead and zoom in on this target and we'll be shooting at the middle target. Get centered up a little bit better here. All right. All right, here we go. I'm aiming right at the middle of the center target. Okay, last shot. All right. Let me go grab that target and we'll go ahead and talk about that a little bit and close out the video. Well guys, I think I can be honest in saying that I got some mixed results here. I was expecting a little bit better accuracy than that out of that 22 short ammo. I don't know what happened. Normally they cluster all right in there. Maybe that particular box that I got, or that it doesn't like to perform out of this rifle as much as it does some of the others. But to have a group like that at 50 yards was quite a surprise to me. And honestly, I didn't expect that. You know, I thought it would be maybe clustered around the center there at best. But to have a one whole group like that at 50 yards, if you're aiming at a squirrel's eye, you'll hit him in the eye every time right there, you know, or a rabbit. You can zero in on that eyeball and smack that eyeball every time if you're a good enough shot. And I attribute a lot of the accuracy from that particular target to this rifle here. This is my Remington Model 581. Y'all have seen this one before and you know it's a great performer. I customized this rifle many years ago and it's been a terrific shooter. You know, I've shot a lot of other rifles and I'll tell you what, it's probably one of the best performing guns I've ever owned. So a lot can be said for the type of rifle or the firearm that you're using in terms of how you should gauge the accuracy of whatever ammunition that you're shooting. With this gun here, I can shoot a variety of 22 ammo very accurately and very consistently. But when you're storing your 22 ammo, that's a, you know, or any type of ammo, it doesn't matter what it is. I've seen boxes of centerfire ammo go bad because it was stored in a wet, humid environment where temperature fluctuations were so extreme that the ammo was pretty much ruined within the first year of storage. So, you know, if you've got ammunition that's 50 years old and it's in great condition, like this right here, what I've got here, I mean, you can see here, I've got some Winchester and some Remington here. I'll open these up, and I didn't try these. Now, these will probably perform a little better, but that ammunition still looks new because I store it in a dry environment, you know, somewhere where the temperature stays pretty much the same. You don't get any kind of humidity or temperature fluctuations. I mean, look at that ammo. It's still like brand new. I really hate to shoot it out here testing it, but I just wanted to make a little video regarding the storage of ammunition. There's some Remington Golden Bullet in 22 short. I guarantee you this stuff will shoot well. There's some hollow point Remington. I don't know how old this stuff is. It's got to be 1960s or 70s. If anybody knows by looking at that box there, please comment below and let us know what era this ammunition came out in. I've got some Peters, Remington Peters as well, that is in great condition, and it has the U stamp on the back of the cartridge, as you can see here, apparent in this box. So, you know, does 22 ammunition go bad over time? Well, yes, it can, but it all depends on how you store it, and also on where you store it. You know, don't take it out in a shed somewhere in your backyard and leave it in a box thinking that it's well protected. Sometimes mice can get in and chew the boxes open. Moisture can get in. You know, if it's sealed, that's fine, but still you've got a lot of temperature fluctuation from wintertime to summertime. You know, you got daytime temperatures of over 100 sometimes, especially here in Tennessee in the summer, and then you've got winter temperatures that can go below zero. So that's a 100-degree fluctuation in temperature, and that's going to draw moisture in. So try to keep your ammunition stored in a consistent environment. That's the best advice I can give you. And by showing you that target that I just shot at 50 yards using that T22 ammunition, 22 ammo can definitely last for a long time and still be viable. So that answers the question. Well, folks, thanks a lot for coming along. I hope you enjoyed this video. And remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, no matter what your outdoor pursuit happens to be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. But also remember this, hit that like button, smash the bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this one will be coming your way. So until next time, y'all take good care of yourselves, get out there and enjoy the great outdoors. And if you take your 22s out shooting, have a lot of fun, just make sure you do it safely. I'll be seeing you.